What's interesting is when you talk about the explanation, skeptics, debunkers, if you want to call them that, come out and say, well, it could be classified technology or drones or stuff like that. What's interesting about this is they investigated 144 cases and they could not put 143 of them in any category that they came up with. They were only able to explain one, which was a balloon. The other explanations they said were potentially classified systems from our own military or a foreign adversary, but they weren't able to identify any of the cases they investigated into those categories. So even though those mundane explanations exist, and I think any investigator would acknowledge that, what's interesting is with the resources of the U.S. military, they couldn't put them in those categories. So you have those possible explanations, but the military wasn't able to definitively say these fit into a classified platform or foreign adversary drone technology, because you can admit that without blowing any classified secrets, yet they weren't able to do it. So it's a short list of what's left. I mean, the general public wants to know, hey, is this alien? Well, of course, you're not going to see that in the report, nor do you. But they didn't rule it out, and they said that last year, and this report solidifies that that's on the short list of possible explanations.
Yeah, there's that, which obviously, right, that would be exciting. That's what people want to hear, evidence found, et cetera. So that's one thing. But, the other, in many ways, the more legitimate thing, I think the lack of transparency around these issues, the government, just not sharing what it knows. Is this, more evidence that no matter how pressed or how pushed they are, they're still not going to take this question take the question of telling the public what they do know seriously?
Well, absolutely. And this document, although discouraging that it is heavily redacted, absolutely solidifies the secrecy around this phenomena, whatever it is. It likely has multiple explanations, and ironically, the report reflects that as well. But it likely has multiple explanations. But the bottom line is the military and the U.S. government has a secret here, and they don't want to tell the general public about it. And you look at all these redactions, and again, although discouraging, that in itself tells a story. And when you really sit down and digest the document, some may theorize, oh, this is just about our classified system platforms that detected whatever these craft are. And you can see in certain areas, yes, that is likely the explanation for the redactions. But when you really look at some of the other areas, they don't want to tell you the capabilities of what these UAP are, these mysterious unknown craft. And the explanation to that would not be classified, in my opinion. We know our systems can detect speeds, can detect altitudes, so that's not classified. They won't tell you where UAPs are flying or how fast. I don't think that should be classified, yet it is. Another key section is what they look like. They label it common shapes, and then another area is uncommon shapes. That's entirely redacted as well. They won't even tell you the visual representation of what these craft look like. So let's say we are dealing with a drone type of technology. Well, there's only so many shapes a drone can be, and is that in itself, without any identifying information on a diagram or a picture, without any identifying information, is that classified? My answer would be no. Yet they won't tell you a single visual observation on what shape these are. So it really solidifies the secrecy behind what these UAP really are.